Write down the problem. Calculate molarity of a solution. Molarity of a solution containing 5 gram of NaOH. 5 gram of NaOH. 5 gram of NaOH in 450 ml of solution. 450 ml of the solution. 5 gram of sodium hydroxide in 450 ml of the solution. We have to calculate the molarity. First, you write the equation for molarity. You write molarity M is equal to moles, number of moles of solute. Number of moles of solute by volume of solution in liter. The unit is liter. Unit of the volume is liter. Moles of solute, number of moles of solute by volume of solution in liter. And what will be the number of moles of solute? You find out moles of the solute here is sodium hydroxide. So a number of moles of sodium hydroxide is equal to, how will you get the number of moles? Mass in gram by molar mass. Mass in gram by molar mass. Mass is 5 by molar mass of NaOH. Molar mass of NaOH. If you don't know the value by heart, you can calculate. Sodium atomic mass is equal to 23 into 1 is equal to 23. Oxygen atomic mass is equal to 16 into 1 is equal to 16. Hydrogen atomic mass is equal to 1 into 1 is equal to 1. You add all this, then the molecular mass of sodium hydroxide is equal to 40. Is equal to 40. So you can substitute the molecular mass of sodium hydroxide. You write it here as 40. So moles of sodium hydroxide is equal to 5 by 40. 5 by 40. That is equal to, can you find it out? Can you try? You simplify. What will be the value? 0.5 by 4. Is it not? 0.5 by 4. So you divide 0.5 by 4. And what will be the value? The value is equal to 0.125 mole. 0.125 mole. That is a number of moles of sodium hydroxide. Then volume of solution in liter. Here volume is given in ml. So we have to convert that volume into liter by dividing with 1,000. So volume of a solution is equal to 450 by 1,000. That is equal to 0. Whatever the value you get. That is 0.45. 45 liter. That is a volume of the solution in liter. Therefore, M is equal to moles of a solute 0.125 by then volume of solution 0.45. That is equal to, you try to simplify that. On simplification, the value will be 0.278, 0.278, 278, 0.278, 278. so much molar 0.07878 molar. Molar means mole per liter. So much mole per liter. Same as 0.278 mole per liter. Mole per liter. Instead of liter, we can make use of the dm, that is a decimeter also. Decimeter cube. Say 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. So you may be given that unit also. Instead of a liter, the decimeter cube will be given. So 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. So the value that we have calculated may be written as 0.278 mole. Then instead of a per liter, we can write per decimeter cube, dm cube, per dm cube, per decimeter cube, decimeter raised to -3. We can use that unit also. So that's about the molarity and the problem based on molarity. So such a simple problems will be asked for the examination. Now let us go to the next concentration term. That is the, what is the number? That is the seventh one. That is molality of the solution. Seventh one, molality of the solution. And it is shown by small m. The symbol is small m, molality. What is meant by molality of the solution? That is number of moles of the solute per kilogram of the solvent. See, number of moles of the solute per kilogram of the solvent. Number of moles of solute, you can write number of moles of solute per kilogram of a solvent. Per kilogram of a solvent. Here there is no volume term. We have only the mass term. Number of moles of solute per kilogram of a solvent. So the mass of a solvent is taken in kilogram. So we can write a relation like this. Molality M is equal to number of moles of solute. Number of moles of solute by, we can write the mass of a solvent, not a solution. So mass of solvent in kilogram. Mass of solvent in kilogram, that is the unit. Mass of a solvent in kilogram. So this is the equation for molality. Molality is number of moles of solute per kilogram of the solvent. So molality is small m is equal to moles of solute, number of moles of solute by mass of solvent in kilograms. See the unit here, mass of the solvent, not a solution. Not a solution. I repeat, it is not a solution. Solvent. Mass of a solvent, not a volume of the solution, not a mass of the solution, not mass of the solution, but mass of the solvent. Moles of solute and mass of the solvent. So number of moles of a solute by mass of a solvent in kilogram. Say in this, there is no volume term. We have only the mass term. So this is independent of temperature. Say a concentration term depends on temperature if there is volume term. We have mentioned that when we were dealing with the molarity. In none of the cases, I have used such a distinction because except the volume concentrations, all are the mass concentration terms. So the mass concentration terms like molality, mass percentage, mole fraction, all these are independent of a temperature because there is no volume term involved. Okay. And what will be the unit of a molality? Unit of a molality. The unit of a molality is, just to think of it, unit moles per kilogram. So moles, a mole per kilogram, per kilogram. That is the unit. Mole per kilogram. Mole in the numerator, mass in kilogram in the denominator. That is why kilogram raised to -1 in the denominator. So mole per kilogram, that is the unit, and it is independent of a temperature. Okay. Now let us solve a problem based on this. Right? You write a problem. Calculate the molality. Calculate the molality. Calculate the molality of. Calculate the molality of a solution containing 2.5 gram of ethanoic acid. 2.5 gram of ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid is acetic acid whose molecular formula CH3COOH. That is ethanoic acid or acetic acid or vinegar. Ethanoic acid in 75 gram of benzene. In 75 gram of benzene. 75 gram of benzene. So we have a solution of ethanoic acid in benzene. The mass of the solute, ethanoic acid, acetic acid, vinegar, CH3COOH, 2.5. Then mass of the solvent, benzene, that is equal to 25 gram. We have to calculate the molality. So, right? Molality, M is equal to moles of solute. So, moles of solute, number of moles of solute by mass of solvent. Mass of a solvent in kilogram. Mass of solvent in kilogram. So you find out mass of moles of solute. So moles of solute. What is the solute here? Ethanoic acid. Moles of ethanoic acid. Moles of ethanoic acid. Number of moles of ethanoic acid. Can you hear me? Can you follow this or not? Achu?
Yes,
You
sir.
follow the problem? Okay. So moles of a solute. Solute here is ethanoic acid. Whose molecular formula is given CH3COH. So moles of ethanoic acid is equal to mass in gram by molar mass. Mass in gram 2.5 by molar mass. You find out the molar mass of a CH3COOH. If you don't know by heart, you can calculate. You find out the mass due to carbon, atomic mass 12 into there are 2 carbon atoms. So 12 into 2 is equal to 24. Mass due to oxygen, atomic mass 16 into, there are 2 oxygen atoms. So 32. Then hydrogen is equal to atomic mass 1 into, there are 4 hydrogen atoms. Is equal to 4. So it is equal to 60. Molecular mass is equal to 60 gram per mole or a 60 U. So 2.5 by 60. 2.5 by 60. You can simplify it or you can keep it as such. Don't worry about that. If you find it difficult to simplify, you just keep the value as such. Okay, we can carry it over to the next level. Then mass of solvent in kilogram, but here the mass is given in gram. So mass of benzene, that is the solvent. Mass of benzene is equal to, it is given in gram, that is divided by, convert that into kilogram. So divided by 1000, 0.075 kilogram, 0.075 kilogram. That is mass of the solvent. Therefore, molality small m is equal to number of moles of ethanoic acid, 2.5 by 60, that is divided by 0.075. So in the denominator, 0.075. So much mole, come on, mole per kilogram. Per kilogram. That is the value. If you can simplify it. Or you simply keep it as such, at least up to this. For simplification, you may miss only half a mark or so. But all the substitutions must be done, and you must write the unit also in the final answer. There should be the unit also. You do the substitution and write the unit, keep it as such. If it is possible, you can simplify it, or you simply leave it as such. The value is seen that 0.556, that is given in your book, 0.556, so much mole per kilogram. Mole per kilogram. And you check the value when you get the time. You must check the value when you get the time. So we have seen the various terms to express concentrations of solutions. Okay. Do you follow all this? Simple, very simple problems. Now let us go to the term solubility. 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 What is meant by solubility? We have already seen that is the maximum amount of the solute dissolved in a given amount of the solvent. Maximum. So solubility is the maximum amount of the solute. Maximum, you're right. Maximum amount of the component. Or you can say, if it is solution, you're right, maximum amount of solute. Maximum amount of a solute present in a given amount of, a specified amount of solvent. A given amount of a solvent. That is called solubility. The maximum amount of the solute that can dissolve
in a given amount of the solvent. That is called a solubility. If there is maximum amount of the solute, maximum amount of the solute dissolved in a given amount of a solvent, then that solution is called, do you remember, saturated solution. If there is maximum amount of the solute dissolved in a solvent, then the solution is called a saturated solution. So we can write a definition for saturated solution here. So what is a saturated solution? What is saturated solution? So saturated solution means is the solution containing the solution which contains or containing which contains which contains maximum amount of maximum amount of the solute, maximum amount of the solute. That is called the saturated solution. Saturated solution is the solution which contains maximum amount of the solute. That means no more solute can dissolve in the solution. So if you add solute into a saturated solution, it will remain undissolved. It will remain undissolved. It will not dissolve any further amount. And that is saturated solution. But if in a solution, say the solute can dissolve, then it is called unsaturated solution. So another term comes here, unsaturated solution. You're right? Unsaturated solution. So unsaturated solution the solution is the solution which does not contain which does not contain maximum amount of the solute, maximum amount of the solute. A solution which does not contain maximum amount of the solute, that is called the unsaturated solution. I repeat, saturated solution, it contains maximum amount of the solute. Unsaturated solution, it does not contain maximum amount of the solute. So what happens when a solute is added into a saturated solution and unsaturated solution? What will be our observation? If a solute is, further amount of the solute is added into saturated solution, the solute remains undissolved. Undissolved. But if solute, further amount of solute, an additional amount of the solute is added into the unsaturated solution, the solute dissolves. So how can you identify between saturated solution and the unsaturated solution? That may be the question. Say you are given a solution and an additional amount of solute is added. The solute remains undissolved. What is the type of the solution? Multiple choice. What is the type of the solution? Say solute remains undissolved. And what is the type of the solution? A, saturated. B, unsaturated. C, supersaturated. D, none of this. None of this. So what will be our answer? What will be our answer? Solute remains undissolved. So what will be our answer? The answer should be saturated solution. Saturated solution. Okay. If it dissolves, then our choice is unsaturated solution. I had introduced one more term, supersaturated solution. And what is a supersaturated solution? You can write that also. Super saturated solution. It is not there in your book. Supersaturated solution. What is supersaturated solution? Is the solution, the solution which contains, which contains, which contains more than, more than the maximum amount, maximum amount of solute, maximum amount of solute, soluble, maximum amount of solute, soluble. So a solution which contains more amount of the solute, solute more than that required for a saturated solution. That is called a supersaturated solution. Supersaturated. There are certain solutions in which there will be more amount of solute than the saturated solution. That also will happen in some cases. And that solution is called a supersaturated solution. What happens when a solute is added into a supersaturated solution? Then we can say that there will be crystallization of the extra amount of solute dissolved, the excess amount of solute dissolved. So there is crystallization of the solute. So you write in brackets, you write, in brackets you write, if solute is added, solute is added into, solute is added into a supersaturated solution, supersaturated solution. All these are needed for the MCQ type or assertion reason. Supersaturated solution, comma, crystallization of solute occurs. Crystallization of solute occurs. Full stop, close the bracket. So we have seen three types of solutions: saturated, unsaturated, and supersaturated. Saturated, maximum amount of the solute. Unsaturated, amount less than the maximum amount, or the amount of the solute required for saturated solution, less than. Then supersaturated, more amount of the solute more than that needed for saturated solution. And when we add the solute into these three types of solutions, the observations will be different. I repeat the observations. When solute is added into saturated solution, solute remains undissolved. Unsaturated solution, the solute dissolves. Supersaturated solution, yes, come on. Supersaturated solution. What happens? There is, you look at the notes at least and say, there is crystallization of the solute. So the observations are different. Okay. Now you come to solubility again. Say solubility is the maximum amount of the solute dissolved in a solvent. And such a solution is a saturated solution. So we can say solubility is the same as the concentration of a saturated solution. Is it okay? Maximum amount of the solute. So the concentration of saturated solution will be the same as the solubility. So we can write the definition of a solubility in another way also. And what is it? Say the definition goes like this. So new definition. Solubility is, you can write, solubility is the concentration of, the concentration, the concentration of a saturated solution, saturated, maximum amount of the solute, saturated solution, concentration of a saturated solution, that is a solubility of the solution. Okay. Now let us see what are the different factors which affect the solubility of a solute in a solvent. So the next term is factors affecting the solubility of a solute. Which are the factors? So factors, you're right, factors which affect solubility, solubility. So which are the factors upon which solubility depends? As we have already seen in the previous classes, solubility depends on nature of the solute and solvent. That is factor number one. Nature of nature of a solute and solvent. Nature of solute and solvent. So you're right. Factors which affect solubility. The factors upon which the solubility depends. One, nature of a solute and solvent. Second, say pressure. And that is more important for gases. And the third one, temperature. So these are the three main factors which affect solubility of a solution. Can see this again? Nature of the solute and solvent. Second, pressure. Third, temperature. So these are the various factors. Let us see the dependence of solubility on the various factors in brief. So let us discuss the dependence of solubility on nature of the solute and solvent. Come to that. Nature of a solute and solvent. What is meant by that? Let us see that. Okay. So first one, A, nature of solute and solvents. Solute and solvents. Solute and solvents. There is a general principle for solution. The general principle is, I think that you remember that, the general principle of solutions. Like dissolves like, that is the general principle for solutions. Like dissolves like, that is the general principle. Like dissolves like. Like dissolves like, that is the general principle of solutions. That is the relation between solute and solvent. Like dissolves like. That means the solute and solvent should be almost alike in physical properties. there should be similarity in the physical properties of at least physical properties of the solute and the solvent. Say, for example, let us take sodium chloride, glucose, sucrose, urea, etc. All these compounds are either ionic or polar. So, what is the meaning of a like dissolves like? The meaning is this: say ionic, and polar. You're right. And polar solutes. Solutes dissolve. Dissolve in polar solvents. Polar solvents. Say, for example, like water, like water, like water. Ionic and polar solutes can dissolve in polar solvents. Ionic and polar solutes are insoluble in non-polar solvents or covalent solvents. For example, sodium chloride, Na plus Cl minus, ionic. This is ionic. Sodium chloride, potassium chloride, magnesium sulfate, etc. These are ionic. So sodium chloride and glucose, cane sugar, that is sucrose. Cane sugar, the chemical name is sucrose, and urea. All these are polar. All these are polar. Are soluble. Are soluble in water. Soluble in water, and it is polar. Water is polar. Polar. But these are insoluble in, say, for example, benzene, that is covalent, and insoluble, insoluble in benzene, insoluble in benzene. This is non-polar. It is a covalent. It is a non-polar, insoluble in benzene, which is non-polar. Okay, the question will be like this. Sodium chloride is soluble in water, but insoluble in benzene. Why? We have the general principle, like dissolves like. So, ionic and polar solutes dissolve in polar solvents. If you are given sodium chloride, you can say sodium chloride is ionic and soluble in water, which is polar, and insoluble in benzene, which is non-polar. All right. Let us take another example for this. The like dissolves like. What is that? That's about the non-polar solutes. Non-polar solutes. Non-polar solutes. Non-polar solutes. Say, for example, say naphthalene and anthracene. Naphthalene, 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 comma, anthracene, anthracene, anthracene. Naphthalene and anthracene, these are non-polar. So non-polar solutes like naphthalene and anthracene are insoluble, insoluble in water. Insoluble in water because it is polar, polar, but soluble, soluble in benzene. But they are soluble in benzene. It is a non-polar, non-polar. That is about the relation between the solute and solvent, or nature of a solute and solvent. The nature of the solute and solvent is like this. That is, ionic and polar solutes. For example, sodium chloride, urea, glucose, sucrose, etc. are soluble in polar solvent like water, insoluble in non-polar solvent like benzene, while non-polar solutes like naphthalene, anthracene are insoluble in water, which is polar, but soluble in benzene, which is a polar. So that is the first point we have to see, that is nature of a solute and solvent. Okay, so that's all about the dependence of the dependence of solute